Welcome back to our online lecture series on textile effluent treatments. So in the previous unit, we saw about the tertiary treatment or advanced treatment methods, and in this unit, we'll be seeing about air pollution, properties of air pollutants, and the noise pollution, and the control of both air and noise pollution. In this video, we'll be seeing about air pollution and the sources of air pollution, followed by the properties of air pollutants. Air pollution is defined as the presence of any solid, liquid or gaseous substance, including noise, present in the atmosphere in such concentrations that it may tend to be injurious to human beings or living creatures or even materials or property or enjoyment. Substances which alter the concentration of air or which disturbs the air property is called air pollutants, or the substances are harmful to us human beings or biotic life and abiotic life is called as air pollutant. So textile industry generate all three kinds of waste, that is liquid effluent, air emission, and we have solid waste. The main source of air pollution in textile industry are boilers, thermopacks, diesel generators. So these generate gaseous pollutants such as suspended particulate matter SPM, sulfur dioxide gas, and oxides of nitrogen gas. The major air pollution problem in textile industry occurs during the finishing stages, and here the process employed coating fabrics emits much of the volatile compounds. So sources can be classified based on three categories. One is based on their source, which is if they are movable or they are stationary. So based on that, we classify it as stationary source and mobile source. Stationary source, they emit the pollutants from a fixed point. While mobile sources, there is no fixed point. The source of emission is movable, and we cannot say the exact location where the pollutant is being emitted continuously. So mobile sources example are automobiles, gas powered lawn tools, mowers, boats, planes, etc. Next is natural and human sources. Natural sources of forest fires, volcanoes and dust storms. In addition to that, we have sea sprays, trees and bushes which emits VOC, and fermentation in swampy soils. Fermentation and breakdown of cellulose in guts of animals. So those are natural sources. We have agricultural sources which are enclosed farm animals. They release some gases such as ammonia, and aerial drift of excess fertilizers and pesticides. So these are some sources of air pollution. So another one classification is based on their interaction with the environment. So based on that, we can classify into two types. One is primary pollutant and another one is secondary pollutants. So primary pollutants are those which are emitted directly from the source, while secondary pollutants are those obtained by the reaction between primary pollutants and the components of air present in the atmosphere. Atmospheric air contains hundreds of pollutants. Those may be from result of natural or anthropogenic reasons, and the natural reasons may be dust storms, volcano, etc. While human activities may be burning of wood, coal, oil in the homes or industries, and also automobiles. So important primary air pollutants are oxides of sulfur, then oxides of carbon, we have sulfur dioxide, then we have oxides of nitrogen, we have volatile organic compounds and suspended particulate matter. Secondary pollutants are those which are obtained by the reaction between the atmospheric agents and primary pollutants. Okay, so they are called secondary pollutants, and they are mostly formed because of chemical reactions and due to the energy from sun. Some important secondary pollutants are sulfuric acid, ozone, formaldehyde, peroxyacetyl nitrite, and photochemical smog. Properties of air pollutants. One is sulfur. It is a colorless gas with a characteristic and sharp pungent smell. SO3 is generally emitted along with the SO2, and SO3 rapidly combines with water to form sulfuric acid. Nitrogen dioxide, here both nitric oxide and nitrogen dioxide are formed here, and those are commonly referred as NOx. And this NO is colorless and odorless, and it is produced largely by fuel combustion. NO2 is brown pungent gas. It has an irritating odor. NO2 is produced by oxidation of NO, nitric oxide. Carbon monoxide, which is a highly harmful pollutant, and this is colorless, odorless, and tasteless gas. It is dangerous asphyxiant. Next is volatile hydrocarbons. Those are emitted from petroleum products or some other decaying organic matter. It can be saturated or unsaturated, which is a single bonded or double bonded. There may be double bond between carbon compounds or CC single bond. So such compounds are saturated compound is where C is single bond, and unsaturated compound C is double bond. We have branched and chain. and we have ring structure or other cyclic compounds. Okay, this is based on the molecular structure. Hydrocarbons in air will undergo chemical reactions in the presence of sunlight and nitrogen oxides, and it forms photochemical oxidants, of which the predominant one is the ozone. Next is particulate matter. They are suspended droplets of solid or liquids or mixtures of two. So example are dust, smoke, fume, mist, fog, and aerosols are particulate matter with different diameter. Coarse particles are the particles above 2.5 microns, and the fine particles are below 2.5 microns. In general case, we represent it as PM. For identification purposes, we represent as PM10 and PM 2.5. The particles of size less than 10 microns, those are, and it is above 2.5 microns comes under PM10, while those particles below 2.5 microns comes under PM 2.5. Here you can see the suspended matters. One is mist, which is aerosol consisting of liquid droplets. The example is sulfuric acid mist. And next one is fog. This is aerosol containing water droplet. Then we have solid particles. One is dust. So aerosols containing solid particles that are blown into air and are produced from larger particles by grinding them. This is example is dust storm. And next is smoke. As you all know, produced due to chemical reaction or combustion. So example, cigarette smoke and smoke from burning garbages. Next is fumes. This is formed by the condensation of hot vapor metals. Okay, these are aerosols formed by the condensation of hot vapor metals. Example, zinc or lead fumes. So next pollutant is lead. So this lead enters the body when we inhale airborne particles or consume the lead that was deposited on the surfaces. At one time, the primary source of airborne lead was from the additives in gasoline, because before we used leaded petrol, and now it is banned and we use unleaded petrol. Another major source of lead is paint. Okay, so today, however, industrial sources are such as metal smelters, manufacture of batteries account for about 80% of lead emissions. Effects of these air pollution, we can see the human effects of air pollution one by one. First one, suspended particulate matter. The characteristics, I'm not going into this, and we have also seen the sources. And suspended particulate matter affects the breathing capacity. So it affects the respiratory system and also the cardiovascular system in the body, and it damages the lung tissues. So PM of size less than 2.5 directly sediments in the lungs and may cause lung cancer also. So it may have carcinogenic issues. Sulfur dioxide, it's a highly irritant gas. So it brings about respiratory illness, and it damages the mucous membrane of the lungs. So it causes severe irritation while breathing, and in asthmatic patients they suffer from chronic lung and cardiovascular diseases. Okay, so elderly people and children are mostly affected in this pollutant. Next is carbon monoxide, which is a highly threatening gas. It poses serious health threat since it affects the blood carrying capacity. So it joins with the hemoglobin part. It joins with the hemoglobin and forms carboxyhemoglobin. So thus reducing the oxygen carrying capacity of blood, and thus as a result our cells are deprived of oxygen. And also a causative agent for photochemical smog in some areas. Next is nitrogen oxides. So NOx play a major role in tropospheric ozone formation. And NO2 irritate lungs and causes bronchitis and pneumonia. It lowers resistance to respiratory infections. And asthmatic patients are more susceptible to this nitrogen oxides. Next is ozone. So tropospheric level ozone is harmful, and it causes pulmonary congestion and repeated coughing and sneezing. So it affects all healthy people as well as the people who are impaired with respiratory diseases. Next is carbon dioxide gas. So it's a colorless gas found in air, and combustion of coal, petrol and diesel is the source. So increasing concentration over the years cause the greenhouse effect. So the increase of carbon dioxide causes greenhouse effect, and in turn it forms a source for global warming and climate changes. Next on nuclear waste, it is, you know that it emits radioactive waves, and so it has the radioactive property, and it causes cancer and mutation, gene mutation, and even death in people. So these are the some of the air pollutants which we see and their properties we have discussed, and we know about air pollution. So in the next video, we'll be seeing about the control equipments which are used for controlling particulate as well as gaseous air pollutants. Thank you.